Dayquil, so that'll work things out. Cool. And all right, so we'll go through the brief outline of today's webinar. From the main page, you can always go over here to learn and free online tutorials. And in here, you can find stuff for iClone, which we're going to be dealing with today. And those are all the tutorials. The CrowdSim tutorials can be found here under CrowdSim. If you want to review, I'll probably mention these a few times later on. If not during the webinar, then during the Q&A session later. And we deal a little bit with Motion Director as well. So these two topics are the ones we're going to be dealing with today. You can browse all those tutorials for supplementary learning material on your own time. And over here we have webinars, and this is the demo outline for today. So we're going to be talking mostly about crowd simulation, like I mentioned. We're going to be using navigation meshes, walkways, a number of other different things. And yeah, have some fun with it. Create a couple of scenes. We're going to create one kind of final scene, but I'm going to go through some demo scenes earlier on, just so you're aware. So yeah, that's the outline. We'll close those windows. I do also want to mention here as well, we have our content store promo page. You can check this out. I'll throw this into the chat window for you guys, so you can check it out on your own time. I'm coming to here, by the way, from Calgary, Alberta in Canada. So welcome everyone. I know there's people from all over the world attending. I know some people are probably here at like 2 o'clock in the morning or something over in Asia. So thank you for being there. This is the page, the content store new release page. You can check out all of our latest and hottest content here. We have a bunch of different movement packs that you can check out. I haven't actually checked these out myself yet, but I can guarantee you they're going to be pretty good stuff. So we will be dealing with a couple of these packs in today's webinar, which are this MD conversation and conversation pack, and yeah, pedestrian actions that'll probably be in there as well. Yeah, just check out this page on your own time and check out the new content. And as always, we have, if you're a student or an educator, you get a 60% discount for all of our software. And make sure you go to our Global Training Center to check this out. I'll throw this link in the chat window as well for you guys. There you go. All right, and we're about to get started here. First of all, I want to mention that I'm also going to be using mostly actor core characters in today's webinar. And you can find a bunch of actor core characters on our actor core page here, just actorcore.reallusion.com. And you can find all your actors, the actor category up here. Tons and tons of stuff. Now, one thing I'll mention that I'll probably talk a little bit about later on as well is you can see here we have a little icon in the top left of all of these characters. And that icon means they all have different material plus templates that you can apply. And I'll show you that more a little bit later on. But just make sure you know this kind of like rainbow icon in the top left means the character can support multiple materials, which means different color schemes and everything like that. Actor core characters are mainly used for, we'll talk about a couple of scenarios, mainly used for kind of like, you can use them for all sorts of things, not only background actors, but also, main actors in your scene, depending on what sort of requirements you have. If you have like characters that are talking back and forth and close-ups, you want definitely some more skin detail. But a lot of the actor core characters are just virtually scanned. They're actual scanned characters, body scans. So the quality is, the visual quality is actually quite nice. You can check these out on your own time. You can purchase them all individually or separately or what have you. And if you're picking up a bunch of them, I'd recommend checking out the bundle packs here, like these ones up here, Formal Volume 2, Volume 1, yada, yada. All right, enough of that stuff. Here's a couple of things to be aware of, and I'll talk about this in just a moment here. Character specifications. I'm going to put this link in the chat window as well for you guys, because I always get asked this question, and we'll probably get asked it again at the end of today's webinar at the Q&A, for those of you who aren't here at the beginning. But there's a number of different characters, and I'll show you the difference later on. We have actor scan characters and actor build characters. And you can see here, this is from crowd to medium shot, so you're not too close on the characters. This one here is about as close as you'd want to be. These are actor scan characters, so 3D scanned realistic humans. And the actor build characters are slightly different. You can see the stuff right here, the templates. The actor scan characters have blend shapes, full facial blend shapes. They both do really, but actor scan characters have color and material adjustments here. You can see this item right there, and visual details suitable for most camera ranges. Again, you're not going to want to go super close up, but yeah, you can do most of it. Actor build characters are generally have a variety of things. Again, they have the different colors as well, and they're merged materials though. So just be aware that the materials are all kind of stuck on the actor build characters. I'll show you more later when we get to it, but and then the actor origin characters, those are just our original CC3 plus legacy slash whatever characters. All right. Okay, I think I've gone through all the explore all the Google Chrome windows here that I need to go through. So I'm going to close this for now. We may bring it up in just a moment. And let's get started. I'm going to show you a couple things first, just using your basic actor crowd templates here. So I'm going to go back into my main folder here. And under project, you'll find actor group. And there's this comes embedded with iClone. So there's a number of different actor group stuff right here. These all come embedded, and you can see the suffix here is .i actor group. Just be aware of that because actor groups are a totally different format from your iAvatars and everything else. So right now, I'm just going to really quickly populate this scene. I'm going to show you right off the bat how fast and easy it is to, populate a scene like this using actor core characters. For those of you who are interested, this is a scene. Oh man, I'll go back to project here. If you right click on any object, you can go to content info. Next Level 3D is the developer who created this. And I'll, you know what, tag with it. I'll just provide you a link to his content because there's some really good stuff here. I think some of you are on this webinar are looking for, business or, real estate sort of considerations. So check out this guy, Next Level 3D. He's got some good stuff in the content store that you can purchase. And I'll throw that in the chat for you. Welcome, Daniel from Madoc, Ontario, Canada, fellow Canadian. All right, cool. Yeah, so let's go back to our actor groups. So these actor groups, this social actions pack right here, this is one that's available for purchase in the content store. You can, I'll throw this in the chat window as well. I'm sort of throwing so much stuff in the chat window to start off here. You guys are probably overwhelmed by these links, but a lot of cool stuff to go through. This is a social action pack. This contains a number of different other actor groups. And you'll see how cool actor groups are in just a moment. I really like using them because I'm can be a lazy at times. Let's give ourselves a new camera here for this project though. And let's make sure it's a small focal length. That's good. Okay. So actor group, you'll all have this. This comes embedded with iClone 8.5. And basically, so we have this office scene right here. All of these ones are standing actor groups. So you can see here we have, the one, if we click and drag this over here in the background, it should pop up with our window. And just a moment, there we go. Excuse me if I'm clearing my throat all the time here. All right, so you can see it throws a couple of characters in there. In the background, and say this was some sort of commercial real estate commercial that you're doing or whatever. I have a bunch of actor core characters, and again, I know they're a little bit pricey. Some of them are, and you'll have to gain your collection, but you can also import in your custom ones, and I'll show you that later as well. So this is the one that the main actor group window. There's a few main settings here that are pretty simple. I'm going to just go run through them because I have a lot of stuff to cover today. Randomize actors, and basically you can select source from all available actor core actors. And when you do that, it's going to just consider your entire library of actor core characters, and they're all categorized in your content manager. And then you also want to do things like randomize starting frames, just so they're not like randomly, like if for example there's a random two characters actually have the same motion and they start at the same time, it's going to look weird. So you obviously want them to all be doing different random things. So you want to randomize most things. And if your characters are far away like this, it doesn't matter if they have no expressions. You can just click on continuous expressionless, and then click on randomize. You can see that it already randomized a few characters there. You can throw in a randomize it again, and it'll bring in a few more. Oh, yeah, okay, good. So there's some actor core characters that are like the Hulk or like, Roman soldiers and stuff. And I have that in my library. So when I click source from all available actor core actors, sometimes it'll randomly put in like, a Roman soldier talking to the Hulk or something, and it looks really funny. Anyway, so there you go. Still those in there, they're at a very non-formal office. And you can see maybe they're kind of a bit into the ground there. I can just bring them up, pressing the W hotkey. And oh, there we go. Something like that. And we can zoom in. So you can have, like a visual like this, like do 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 do. And there's the wall. Let's bring in a couple more guys using a different actor group. So here's one standing two characters actor group. So maybe something they'll place them over here. And I'll show you how to customize your own actor group in just a moment, so you can create these on your own. Okay, those guys look relatively normal. We'll just go ahead and okay with that. Now, this one here, you can choose like a different preset as well. You can do that with all of them actually, but this one here, stand male male, stand male female. I think this is one is stand and drink male male. So they're both kind of have this guy has a coffee in his hand, and I'll talk more about that later, how to add accessories in. Let's go ahead and press OK with this one, and it's going to assign them that these default motions already that are already kind of embedded. Bring it up a little bit, okay. And then what I'll do is like go into content here. I'm going to go back into the social actions. So the regular actor group that's embedded doesn't have any seated um, actor groups, unfortunately. So you have to go to this, purchase the social actions pack, or you can always make your own. And I'll talk about that later on as well. I mean, the purpose of these things is to make things easier for people who don't really animate that much. But you can, for example, here, if we wanted to have, let's see, where should we put them to make our visualization? I mean, we can put them like right in front of us here. This one is two characters seated together. Or there's one that's like one person standing, one person sitting. Oh, I don't know. I always get there's too many choices sometimes. We'll bring in these two characters seated and throw them in these chairs that are right in front of us here. Excuse me. All right, so you can see that they are facing the wrong way. So we won't worry about the randomized stuff anymore. We won't worry about the randomized starting frames, all this stuff. This one, we'll just go ahead and press OK. And like I mentioned, I haven't pressed play yet to animate all these characters, but these ones do come with a bench, which you don't really want to have a bench in the middle of the office here. So you can separately select that bench and delete it. Your characters will remain seated, and you can individually select them and rotate them to whatever frame you want or whatever angle you want. Make sure, of course, you're doing this at frame 1. And of course, you can also, once they are applied, get over here. Come here. There we go. We won't. I mean, yeah, we can probably reposition this a little bit. You can see in this case here, the leg is breaking through the mesh. So again, like I mentioned, at frame 1, just make sure at frame 1, because it'll last for the entire project. Go over to your actor will automatically be in light mode, which means that it's just saving resources. Everything's baked in. Just go over to edit mode here. And then in edit mode, you can go ahead and go to motion and edit motion layer tool. And we'll just take how about we just take the feet up, might work. Okay, something like this. So her legs aren't breaking through the mesh. And again, I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time on this. I just want to be so that her legs aren't popping through that mesh. Let's just get rid of these bones so I can actually see things here. I don't know many people who have that on by default, the bones on by default, but can be annoying sometimes. All right, okay, so we got this character here. Let's bring her over a slight bit more to the left, so she's kind of seated in the middle. Shabadoo, there we go. And this guy, let's just have him sitting the wrong way. No, I'm just kidding. We'll turn him around. He just looks like he's passed out the wrong way on his chair. Yeah, this might not have been the right dude to bring in for the office scenario, but he looks like he's kind of dozing off here. He's passed out on a bench or something. That's funny. Anyways, okay. So here we go. Let's have like let's create a quick zoom um, um, through our scene right here. So we'll start like, welcome to J&R Architectural Enterprises or something, and you have these people just kind of sitting in the waiting room here. We could put a secretary over there, but again, we're just going to go through this really quick here. Um, and then we'll play back how many frames. So you can see they have their own. This guy's looking right into the camera. Um, I don't know, maybe 800 frames, and we'll zoom all the way to the back. So there we go. I'll just pause about there. And then we can, zoom our camera back like this. Go way through here. And I really do think that guy is just dozing off in his chair. Goodness sakes. All right. So imagine, we put some nice background music to this. It's like some business inspirational type music like that. And we have something like this. All right. So the guy's like wondering, and she's waiting for the secretary or something. Guy in the flamboyant suit right there. This guy's dozing off. But you can see basically how quick it is just to, and I mean, all you really have to do is add some music to that, and you can throw it on to like any promo. At least give it as a pre-visualization to any client that is looking to, have a scenario like this in their office. Naturally, the whole setup, the whole scene and everything like that is already a pre-made one that I showed you earlier, but you can easily assemble this within an hour or something like that too. So, and the lighting isn't too hard. If you guys want to learn more about lighting and stuff, I can show you later, but we're going to focus on the animation aspect of things. Okay, cool. So that's how we kind of like, create a scene really quickly using actor core characters and actor groups. Again, all the motions are random, and they're all preset made to be used professionally. Just click and drag them in. All right. So I'm going to start a new project now. I'm going to talk about how to create custom actor groups. Let me just go over here. All right. So I also mentioned as well, we have presets and random, but let's go ahead and create our custom actor groups anyways. So say I have characters, and for this scenario, I'm just going to use actor core characters. I'll show you right after that how you can bring in your own custom characters and apply them. I'm just going to go over here to actors. And as you can see, I have a bunch of actor core packs installed right here, like Business People Volume 1, Volume 3 to 4, whatever, yada, yada, and a bunch of other stuff installed. Even sportswear characters as well. Okay, cool. So under actor, let's go ahead and under actor group, this is the one that's embedded. So with embedded, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 8, 8 characters embedded in iClone 8.4 here. So those are the ones you have embedded, and you can see that they're actor scan characters on the bottom right there. Okay, and these ones are actor. This kit is actor build. All right. Let's throw in. We can throw in any of these, but I'll just create one with the default template characters because you can see how it works out. Now, one thing to be aware of when you're creating your actor group, I'm going to delete this guy first, is you want to be, when you create them, don't try to create them in a scene. I recommend just creating them in a blank project like this. And be sure you're at the origin point, which is the middle point right here in your axis. Okay. Because basically you want the axis to be the middle of the world axis, which is right on the screen there. So when you apply them into a different scene, they're not like way off center or something like that. Just something to be aware of when you get started. So to create your actor group, first you want to go over to create, and on the bottom here, create actor group. All right, pretty simple stuff. It'll pop up with this window, which is now blank. I'm going to move my face over here so I can't see it. Okay, and you can see there's already some template tags in the top. Tags are very important, and I'll talk about those in a moment. We're going to create a couple of base actor groups first. The first one is going to be very simple. We'll just have this dude talking to a couple of other dudes. So we'll just bring him in, press the E hotkey to rotate him. Maybe a little bit closer. And he'll be talking to this lady here. And be aware of their orientation as well. You want them to be looking at each other. For this one, I'm not going to be creating any custom animations. I'll do that in the next one, but I'm just going to use basic animations. Now, at this point, when you're using the basic animations, you can't use look at function, which is hopefully we'll get that in the near future. But with these particular characters, we just want to have them facing each other, and I'm going to use motions that are fairly generic. Okay, so we can have these three people here. All right, looks okay. Maybe they could be a little bit closer. There you go. All right, we'll work with that. I think the orientations look all okay. So you can see when I add them to my scene, it also adds them to my base group here in the actor group settings window. So I guess there's Lamar, Spring, and Maureen. I guess I didn't even know they had names, but well, there you go. Then you want to give them some animations really quickly. So content, we'll go back to animations. And for these ones, I'm going to use, there's a conversation content pack. We'll go ahead and this is one that's available for purchase in the content store. The ones that are included with iClone are the ones here in actor group. You can see if we double click on that, there's a bunch here as well. We can just use these ones. Let's use all the default template motions so we don't have to worry about too many other things. So this one here is a stand and chat. So we'll just and you can see there's a F, which means female. Okay, so we'll click that and drag it to this female here. Okay, and this one here is a stand and chat male. We can just throw this onto our male character. And again, make sure you're doing this all at frame one. Don't make sure you're not down the timeline anywhere. Okay, just keep things simple. And then there's another female one. Stand and these ones were on your phone. Stand, wait, female. Okay, we'll just apply this stand, wait to this female character. Okay, and then notice when I apply all those, it shows up here beside the characters under motion, and it has tags. Okay, so these tags are very important for the random behavior of the characters. This motion can be applied to female, adults, and teens. You can see here that it can be applied to any character like that. So those motions have tags embedded in them, and those are those three tags right there. You can see this one here is male, okay, and adult and teen. Obviously it's not a child motion, so you wouldn't normally apply this to a child. This is more for random motion generation or random motion assignment and stuff. Okay, so we can play this back now. You can see here, not doing much. These ones are fairly standard. Maybe this female is facing the wrong way. This one over here, this girl's looking past him. She's like, I'm just bored as heck. This guy's talking about. But this woman over here, you can see we could probably realign her. So just click her and get her over here. Maybe facing this guy a bit more. Okay, and we'll just work with that. Okay, so let's say I'm satisfied with that. Again, I'm whipping through this because we have a few other things to take care of. But here's my favorite, or my first actor group. Definitely not my favorite. But let's go ahead and save it. And we'll just call this 02 basic chat. Okay, I was doing some earlier. You can see over there already in this folder. Okay, save this. So now what's happening is these three characters are saved in their own group, their own actor group. So I just basically created my own actor group, and I can click and drag that in anytime I want to. And I can reassign the characters based on the tags. So these tags here, male, adult, I can and it'll automatically assign those tags. And any random character that I bring in, if I randomize the next time, it'll only assign a male or a male adult or a teen character to that character's position. Okay, so this is my actor group already created. I can close this down now, and I can just delete all my characters on the screen. And then I'll go into, I saved it to a custom folder here. Right, let me bring it over to this window. You can see here. I saved it to this custom folder, and it was called QR. Oh, 02 basic chat. I thought it was Q. Okay, so now when I bring this in, say this is a scene where it's like, I already have my background set up and everything. I'll bring this actor, and it says it's processing them all to light mode. Okay, so all the actors are in light mode. You can see it's the same characters right here. All right, and you can bring them into edit mode. You can replace to modify the motions even further. You can replace any of the characters by going to content and bringing in, let's say, I don't know, any actor. Anyways, I won't do it right now, but you can easily replace the actors. Maybe I'll just do it quickly just to show you. Okay, we'll go into this dude here. Again, it's a male character, so let's choose a male dude and make sure the yellow. Okay, you should be able to bring that guy in. But anyways, the preset's all set, and not sure why it's not picking onto him. Anyways, okay, so then we play back, and we already have this set, so we can bring this into any project we want, and looks pretty cool. We're all good to go here. That's our first actor group. Let's start another one here. And for this one, I'm going to use a slightly different scenario. My characters are going to be walking. So let's have, since we're already here, let's use this dude here, and we'll bring in a female character. This one looks all right. And again, we'll reposition them to something close to each other. Now they're going to be actually walking in this. Okay, so I wanted to show you this as as an example of a route change motion. So the characters aren't just going to be standing there; they're going to be actually walking around. And the one we want to go here is under conversation. So this one I'm going to use the purchased pack in the content store, the conversation right here, because this one has a number of ones that are moving actually. So the characters will be moving. And there's one that's like moving, discuss, um, calm. Okay, I think the female is supposed to be on the right side on this one, but we'll just go ahead and apply that to her anyways. Okay, so we gave her emotion, and then we'll do the calm discuss one to the male character as well, and play back to see what that looks like. Okay, yeah, so they're supposed to be on opposite ends. We'll throw this guy over here and throw the female character over here. And they can't, generally with these motions, I find that if you put them like one grid length away from each other, that's normally pretty good. They end up looking okay. There you go. Okay, so this one, that's a little close. Well, she actually kind of moves ahead of him there. But again, just be aware of the distance between the characters. That's something to be aware of. You slide it down. So, all right, that looks okay. He's a little bit slower than her. But oh yeah, we have to, of course, first create our actor group and then bring our characters in. So let's go back and do that to the whatever it was, business, whatever. So you need to bring the characters in. Female character on that side. And they'll be assigned. And then go back to our motions. Conversation. And the discuss, there's a discuss passion. Well, let's just do that, whatever. That one works. And then discuss passion male. I believe this one's a movement one. Nope, sorry. Let's do that. Let's do the discuss, moving discuss. Okay. Moving discuss inquiry, do the male one. Let's just do the same one. Okay, this one's moving discuss passion. All right, there we go. Make sure that's applied. Okay. And moving discuss passion male. All right. So this is a passionate discussion they're having while they're moving. And you can see it only assigns one motion. Okay. We don't have to worry about removing the animation or deleting the old animation. So here they are. She's like, I know you were out with the boys last night. He's like, oh man, we just had one drink, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Anyways, there you go. So there's our next package. And we're going to save this as a base type as well. We got to get through a lot of stuff here. So we'll just call this 02 underscore moving underscore chat. Okay. So now we have two groups that are all saved. And once that retargets the motion and saves all the characters, we can do a preset. So a preset up here, a type preset, is kind of like, I think of kind of a preset as a group of bases. So you can create all these base actor groups, and then you can throw them all into a preset. And when you throw them into a preset, then there's a couple more customization options you can use. And it's just basically a way, like, say, for example, I created like a real estate preset, and all of my motions are, all of my base groups, actor groups in that preset are just like, to do with real estate, and they have real estate characters and so on and so forth. So I saved it. Yep. Okay. Cool. So we can close this one down and delete these dudes, dude and girl. And then we can just go over here to create actor group one more time. And then preset. Okay, so now in preset, I have these ones that are already preloaded. So we're not going to do those. We'll just delete all these for now. Okay. And what I can do then is find my actor groups in Explorer. This one here. And so 02 basic chat, I can click and drag that in. Or no, we have to actually press plus here, add asset and basic chat and moving chat. So I'll open both those. And you can see it loads up a number of different actor characters. I'm not sure why it throws these all in here. These are previous ones that I've already done and deleted. But you can throw as many actors as you want in here as well. So you can just go to your random content and, click and drag the actors from the actor in here as well. So like any of these ones, if I want to add any of these, you can throw them in as well. Maybe just these two. Okay, throw those in, just adds to the list. All right, and if it's a motion that requires like an accessory or anything like, or the character has different materials, you can load those in here as well. The material plus stuff can all be found if you go under content, back here, down here, material plus, or media rather, and then material plus. You'll see that all of these characters have different material pluses that you can throw in there. So different presets. If we have this female character 0070 or 0017, so this female this character here, we can apply that material plus to that character. So we basically go here and load that up. Again, it's weird that we can't click and drag yet, but I'm so used to it. But you just go to find file and copy the file path. Okay. And we'll probably have click and drag in the very new future, but I just didn't want to put it in yet. So I'll just throw this in there. Okay. And then you can add in those other material pluses, okay, for that particular character. So if this character is assigned randomly, we can, it'll have different material plus options. Okay. So again, so we have this preset now. It's a preset, and we don't want random group angle, especially for the walking animation. Otherwise, they'd be walking in different directions. But you can, if you're just chatting or just standing around looking at random things, you can select a random group angle there. Okay. So we'll just save this as a group now, or as a preset. So we'll call this preset 02, whatever. I don't think we even need to number it. But then when we go up to CrowdGen and bring in preset 02, we see we named it. Yep, preset 02. Okay. Then it will apply to the location that we imported it in. Okay. And so this is the moving chat. You can see now it randomized the actor. So this actor is different. And if we want to randomize actors now, we can select, if we select all actors, it'll be the actors that we assigned in that preset. I can also, again, source from all available actor core characters, which I like to do. And for this one, we don't want to randomize the starting frames because they're going to be walking simultaneously together. So make sure you don't do that. And this one, loop type, if your motion has facial animation, then you want to choose repetition. Okay, you don't want to choose continuous. But if you're like from a distance or you don't care about the facial animation, you can choose continuous, and that'll actually save resources. Okay, so they'll just keep on going, but I'll just choose repetition because I think they have talking in this one. And then, of course, if we want, we can, further randomize. Click again. Maybe I'll get a Roman soldier this time. Oh, no, we get some pretty casual looking dudes, the characters. And again, this one can only be female. This one can only be male because we assigned those tags. And go ahead and press OK. Okay, so now they're both walking through their scene like this. Okay, passionately arguing or whatever they were doing. All right, now if we take that preset one more time, um, uh, again, click on preset and click and drag that in. Say, for example, we're in a park scene here and we want these guys to be walking past these dudes here. Again, there's basic chat and there's moving chat. So if I click on moving chat and randomize, it'll be that same moving chat as up here. But we'll just go ahead and keep it on basic chat and repetition. And this one, we want to randomize the starting frames. Again, we can randomize actors, but I'm not going to worry about that. Let's just go ahead and press OK. It already randomized the actors for us. And again, it's assigned based on their tags. We have 2 female characters and 1 male character. So here we go. All right, so again, very quick and very easy to do, very useful thing to have the actor groups. That's how you customize your own actor group. Now, if I want to bring in my own actors, like this is probably a lot of people will do, they want to bring in their own characters. It's just as easy to do. You can do the same thing. I brought in these actor core characters before, but if I go to like my custom folder, custom characters, let's say I want to create dance off between two actors, 2 characters. Um, we'll throw in this coyote character here. These are the random characters I have right now, and maybe this. I'm not sure if there's Eddie demo. We'll just use this Spider-Man. So it'll be just a really wacky. This is some AccuRig character I have from a previous webinar. I'll just throw this in here. Let's have this will be kind of some weird wacky street scene you might only see in a place like New York City. We'll give oh, we need to of course open up the create actor core thing first. Create actor group. Again, we'll just delete all these. We don't want them. I don't want them. And this will be a base one. I don't think I'll worry about random since we're kind of low on time here. You can learn more about that later in the tutorial. But I want to show you how to create your own actor group here with your own custom characters. So we'll bring in Spider-Man. And then we'll bring in our coyote. And of course, make sure the coyote's facing this way. We'll say Spider-Man's like a street actor or something, and he's going to entertain the coyote. So again, this can be any motion that you bring in. But I'm just going to bring in an animation here from content pack. Let's do a dancing one. So Spider-Man will be dancing. Where's a dance pack here? Okay. Street dance. Popping. That'll be all right. Okay, let's do whatever, scarecrow. I don't know. Okay, so you can see it assigns that motion already, and you can see it's for male and female and adults. Most Reallusion content animations already have these tags. That's super convenient. But again, you can not automatically, rather manually assign your own. Okay, and let's have this coyote character. Let's have him just do a random, like, kind of standing motion. And we'll use that from the basic stuff here. So this animation pack here comes with iClone embedded. And let's do like a quick idle. Okay. All right. So he's watching Spider-Man. And if we wanted to here, we can also add some facial animation. But then again, we would have to resave that and reapply it to the character. I'm not going to spend time on that. I could show you that later if you guys want during the Q&A. But let's just go ahead and imagine these are our random characters that we wanted to apply. You can see this idle. It's an old motion, so it doesn't really have any tags. You can assign the tags, but again, we're not going to do any random stuff for now. We'll just save this as a separate actor group. And we'll call this like weird dance. Okay, and that'll save it with those particular characters. and those motions. And I think, if you have a big library of actor groups and with their assigned motions and everything, you save a ton of time in production, especially if you're, producing stuff that, sort of repetitive, like you need a scenario, the same similar types of scenarios. I think it's really useful. It's a really useful thing to have. So it'll look like this. You're like, look at me do the scarecrow, and he's like, it's like it's a dance off. Well, I guess he actually goes into him. Okay, we probably, ideally wouldn't want that, but let's delete them, and we'll find our actor group again. I called it weird dance, I think, right? Yeah, and bring it in anywhere in your scene, and it changes them to light mode. So there you go. Okay. So this Spider-Man character I know was on from a free Sketchfab character, and this Coyote character was some unrigged character that we had before. So it's that easy just to bring in your own characters. Really cool, and try to make sure that they're low poly. You can see this one only has 7,000 tries on it, which is super low. Okay, this guy has 58,000, which is, a little bit higher, but still reasonable. But we could put like, 1,000 Spider-Mans in this scene because he only has 7,000 tries and doesn't have any facial animation or anything like that. So the lower resource your character, the easier it is well, the faster your project will work and you don't have to worry about materials and lighting and all that stuff being different. Okay, so I'm not going to do the facial animation right now. We can always talk about that later. I want to load in a project here and talk about walkways and navigation meshes because those are really useful for crowd generation. And let's go ahead and throw those one project in here. I'm going to throw this project in. First of all, nope. So this project is, we're going to be talking about walkways, how to get your characters to walk in a line or in a certain restricted area. This is really useful for city scenes like you'll see here. You may recognize this if you watch the tutorials. You can see here. Let's just go ahead and switch to a preview camera actually for this. Okay. So in this particular scenario, I've only done this one sidewalk. I just want to show you what it looks like before we move on. So I'll just play back. You can see, oops, let's wait for the camera. You have just a bunch of characters walking along this walkway. Okay, pretty basic stuff. This is what we want to recreate. Okay, so I'll show you how to do this from scratch. Let's actually do it on, well, we don't have any stuff over there. Let's tell you what, let's bring this thing over here, and we'll have, this obnoxious store owner has a sign in the middle of the sidewalk, so we'll have people walking around it. Okay, so when I'm doing paths and walkways and stuff, I always like to use the G hotkey because that gives you a direct overhead view. Again, that's the G hotkey. You can use your home row keys, ASDF, GH, whatever, to have different views, but G is the one for overhead view. So to create a walkway is basically what I just showed you there. You can have people walk along it. You want to create a path first. So go to create and path and just have a few points here. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And we want to have the characters walk around that sign, obviously. Okay. So walkways are, we'll talk about nav meshes a little bit later, but walkways are kind of useful for just kind of having your characters walk along a more focused path. Okay. Let's bring this path up a little bit. Make sure it's above the ground plane, of course. Okay. So here we have it. Okay, not bad. Again, maybe the points can be edited so you can. Okay, it just went off into the distance for some reason. You can edit your points in their path. Click on edit point and move it over here. Okay, maybe this one needs to be a little bit over here as well. We don't want the angle to be too wacky. And all right, we'll just work with that. That's fine. Let's actually move this one over here as well. Okay, this is going to be kind of a funky path, but whatever. Oops, I just adjusted the orientation of the path there. Path orientation, again, you can tilt that as well. I don't want to do that right now, though. Okay, we'll work with that. And of course, you can always project a terrain if you're using a terrain, which I'm not in this case. All right, well, so I'm happy with that path. Let's just go ahead and let's escape, get out of that. So with your path created, you need to go over here to the MD panel, and you can change your path width like this. Okay, so here you go. We can create that path width, and you can make certain areas larger. Like say for example, I wanted more people along this point right here. Press the R hotkey, or rather, you need to go up to Edit Point and click on the point, and then R to expand. You can expand any points you want. Press R and expand this as well. And then we want them to, go into a tight turnaround here. So again, you can always adjust this further later if you want, but there you go. Okay, we'll work with that for now. And of course, you can add points. You can also create connections, which I won't worry about in today's webinar. You can always go to the dedicated tutorial for that. Okay, cool. So we have our path and everything's fine and dandy. Let's just go ahead and press escape, and we will bring some characters in. Let's go to actors. And let's bring in some, what should we bring in? Fall crowd, set one, whatever. All right. So what we want to do here then is bring our characters into our scene. Actually, we'll go ahead and create. And you need to go to scatter. So here's where we're just going to create a crowd. Okay, I'm not going to bring in custom characters. I'm just going to go ahead and create generate crowd. So you can do that. This is a really easy way to do things. You can see I've already populated this actor pool with a number of different avatars. And again, if you want to bring more in, just click and drag them in. I can delete all these actually, and let's make them more casual. Generally, I mean, the more you have, the better, just because so you don't get any repeats. But I'll bring in all these fall characters. We got some really weird looking ones here. All right, so it'll bring all those in. You can see they're all assigned tags and everything like that. And now you can, there's a number of options up here. I'm only going to show you one, but I can always tell you more about them later. You can generate random or formation. Formation are for things like crowds, where you want them all to be seated in a formation, or like an army of soldiers. Generally, you want them to be in formation. You can also create a volume where you want to spawn the characters. But in this object, I have an object, which is the path. So I want to pick object and select pick object, and then pick any point on my path. It doesn't matter. Okay. And now we have 20 characters. It's going to randomly generate 20 characters, and they're going to walk back and forth on this path. We can increase or decrease their spacing. There's all sorts of values here. And you can choose some of them going in reverse, some of them going forward, yada, yada. Not too important there. You can also add a focal point where you want them to be looking at, but we don't want that in this case, unless there's some crazy, thing happening on the corner. We don't want them to be focusing on that. Okay, so here you go. You can like generate different placements as well. You can see here the various random placements we have, and then just go ahead and deploy actors. Okay, we have the iMD files assigned here below as well. I should mention this. iMD files they contain a number of different motions in them that are used for specific iMDs, and I'll show you that in the next section here where we talk about the nav mesh. I'll talk more about iMDs and custom iMDs at the very end there. Now here, very important, deploy with variant materials. Again, if your character has that multiple material capability, you want to have this, okay, just to kind of randomize things a bit more. And then go ahead and deploy actors. All right, so that's going to throw 15 characters in our crowd. The iMDs are very important here because this is kind of the behavior of our characters. So you can see casual, walk, crowd sim, stroll. The crowd sim ones, I believe, are included with iClone. Okay, as are casual walks. Those are all iMDs sorry, the casual walks I think are included with iClone, but the crowd sim ones are from the special pack. Um, so just be aware of that. But you can see they have all sorts of different behaviors. There's way too many here, actually. I should have probably deleted them and just thrown in a couple, but it's going to be really random. I think maybe even there's some jogging ones in there as well, some athletic ones. So we might see some characters jogging. And I can show you how to, have one single character run along a path. But again, I want to focus on the nav mesh for the last 10 minutes here or so. So there, that generated our characters. Okay. Now, if we play back, nothing happens. You're like, oh crap, what happened? I need something to happen. And that's because we need to activate motion director. Okay, we need to run motion director. We can't just play back because there's no motion director generated motions recorded yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this down. Again, you can save and load it, your presets as well. But okay, we'll close that down. Now we need to go to motion director. Now if you want, you can go up to window and workspace, and there's like a special there's a special motion director workspace. You can press Control 8 as a hotkey. I'm not going to do that yet. I'll do that in just a moment. Again, all your characters are in light mode. You can go into edit mode, like I mentioned earlier. What you want to do here, you can just press play in motion director, or you can just go to window and let's just throw in the motion behavior control center. That would be fine. Okay. And I'll dock this over here. Okay, so you can see here in the motion director settings, all the business people that are selected right now. Again, we want to have this on active, auto on path, the control method, very important because they're going to be automatically propelled along this path. Okay, you can control a long path, but this is only used for single characters, these ones here. Okay, we want them all to be auto on path. Down here, their move idle ratio. Again, this can be mostly move. If you want them to constantly be moving, maybe some will be idling. So maybe 25% of them will be idling. Mostly they'll be moving. Again, there's a lot of settings to go through here. I can clear out more stuff later on, but I want to move on to the next scenario first here. But so let's go ahead and press start. Okay, so this is going to process all of our actors. Again, using all of those different iMDs. And to assign an iMD, you literally just have to click and drag it onto your character. But if you don't assign iMDs, they're generated automatically by using the default template one. So if your character is a female, it'll apply the default embedded one in iClone, which I think is casual female, and vice versa for the male ones. So again, it's just processing these actors. It takes a second to apply those iMDs and randomly generate things. And we'll have them moving along. Okay, so we have a follow cam, which is fine. I guess we're following this old dude. But you can see here, oh, okay, our camera messed up. So let's go ahead and stop that. And if for some reason that was a take that we wanted, we could go over here to macro data, and it recorded there. You can see this one here. It recorded the latest one. Let's clear this right now. We don't need the temporary stuff. We'll go to general settings and go to free cam. Okay, so you can kind of see it a little bit better. We don't need a target character really, but it can be anyone really. Let's try casual, whatever. Random casual male. Good enough. And we can also record to camera right off the bat if we want to as well. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go free camera and way back here. Let's get a good view of our characters first, so we can see the whole thing in our scene. So this would be, something that you may want to do. Should be, looks like they're all assigned idols for some reason. I think this is kind of a weird bug. Oh, there's a kid jumping over there. Yeah, so they should be walking along the path. But character settings, yeah, auto on path, start position, start on path. Yeah, that's really weird. Let's try it again. Okay, so they're all idling on the path. I think I'm not sure what went wrong there, but I think maybe because I deleted the macro data for some reason, it kind of messed up. But they should be walking along the path. They shouldn't be just sitting there doing nothing. Um, make sure we have the proper IMD. Oh, okay, this is why. So for some reason, this businessman right here is assigned the female twerking walk um, IMD. Anyways, you get the point. I think this is some kind of weird bug that I've never encountered before. It's just going to do the same thing again. Okay, yeah. Well, apologies for that, guys, but you saw how to make the characters walk along the path anyways. And we avoided this area here. So I want to do for the last scenario here, I want to load up a different project and do the navigation mesh. So let's go ahead and load in this different project. This is one that you may recognize from the tutorials as well. But nav mesh, I think, if you're doing things that are truly random, if you don't need your characters to walk along a specific path, nav mesh is even an even lazier way to do it, really. Um, so I'll show you this in just a moment. Once this project loads, this project is a little bit lighter. So it's okay. So this, believe it or not, this entire thing, all of these characters in this scene were generated using either nav mesh or just preset actor groups. So if we zoom out a little bit and play back, you can see that I've already recorded the nav mesh. I like this one old guy kind of walks over here. He's like, "Oh, where am I going?" Where my mouse cursor is there. And again, their behavior is totally randomized. So, but you can see they avoid each other. Okay, it's pretty cool stuff. You can generate this entire thing in like less than 5 minutes, believe it or not. So simple to do. So like this is kind of like the showing the power of this crowd generation tool. So I'll do this for the next 5 minutes or so, and then I want to show you a quick motion director run through of motion mixer and have Kevin walk through this entire scene here. Um, let's actually do that first before I create my own nav mesh because it's kind of a funny scenario. I just randomly came across this. Let's throw in Kevin here. So again, any characters can be used in this actor core, or sorry, crowd simulation actor groups. Any characters can be used, but like I mentioned, it's better to keep the characters low resources to preserve performance on your computer. But I'm going to go ahead and throw in Mr. Kevin here. And I like to throw in Kevin here because this is every person's worst nightmare, being in a public place like a museum here in your underwear. Okay. So, okay, now this time I'm going to go into Window and Workspace and go to Motion Director. Okay. And this will throw a bunch of stuff out there. For this Kevin character, we can find him down here. You can see his name is red because we haven't assigned him an IMD yet. So for control, we want to have him controlled under player control. And I want general settings. I want the follow camera to be on Kevin here. Okay, and target character is going to be Kevin. Okay, and we can of course record this if you wanted to. It's pretty funny if we record it, but let's just go ahead and assign the IMD first. Main IMD is nothing here yet. So what you can do is you need to assign your character an IMD, and they can be found in the content manager under animation and under motion director. You can see I've downloaded the MD conversations pack. There's a parkour one as well. I don't know. We can apply like this motion director one here. These are all included with iClone. Okay, so yeah, the crowd sim ones are also included. Okay, good. So these are all included with iClone. Let's give him one that's maybe a bit more dynamic, since he's like, oh gosh, I'm in the middle of a crowd with only my underwear on. Maybe the athletic run. Or we could even have him do parkour. Okay, let's try that one. Oh, so this is an extension. The parkour is an extension of the, we'll just do casual jog here. You can apply this parkour extension. This is a purchase from the content store as well. I probably shouldn't use that from the content store so much, but um, this one it'll apply the jog embedded iMD to Kevin here, and he'll also be able to perform some parkour moves using various triggers, which is really cool. So we can have him run around and parkour naked through this crowded scene here, which is yeah, it's going to be super fun once it loads up here. I'll just check my chats here. Yeah, guys. So sorry to mention as well, like maybe I forgot at the beginning. There's a Q&A at the end of today's webinar. So any questions, put them in the Q&A panel. Okay, so we've applied successfully applied everything there. Let's go and we need to have our motion MD triggers here on the bottom. Let's bring that up a little bit. Okay, so once we enter play mode in our MD controls, then you can also click on play up here as well. Then Kevin's going to start. It's going to have a follow cam of Kevin running through this area naked here. Okay, so here we go. He's like, oh gosh, camera's there. Follow cam. So Kevin is obviously a little bit nervous. And of course, this can all be recorded. So, a scenario like this is kind of fun too, because you can actually move the camera around and follow the camera, like and all the collision and detection is automatically assigned as well. So you can see Kevin's really nervous. He's like, oh gosh, where do I go? And there's triggers down here too. So we can have him like, do any of these. Uh, there's athletic ones. We can assign different there's this athletic one now. So now he gets into like a really intense pose. And we can have him do like a side flip, like parkour side flip. Huh, like that. There you go. Swan dive. Huh. Who knows why he's doing this at a museum, but it makes for a pretty funny scenario, I think. The camera got in the way there. You can see we can't run through the characters because there's a collision enabled on the characters. Well, I just ran through one, I guess, but collision is not 100%. Ugh. All right, and the tic tac. Okay, there you go. If we time that right, we could have him doing it off the wall, maybe. Huh, that looked pretty cool. Anyways, you can have fun with that. And of course, when you're finished, you can go ahead and stop. And yeah, that's how you can kind of have a scenario maybe where you have a character just walking through a scene and you can whip it up in like 10 seconds. And that can all be recorded under macro data here. You can preview it or you can create a clip. So this one I think is the one we just recorded, right? And if you select apply to all characters, it'll bake the animation data that was just recorded. It'll bake it to every character in the scene. So in this scene, I think we have like 30 characters. That can take a couple of minutes to do that, but just be aware. You can bake it to only some characters or all characters as well. Let's just preview this here one more time. Okay, so this is when we're starting off. And here, this time, of course, the camera will remain stationary unless I move it. So let's maybe get a bird's eye view. Where did Kevin go? Oh, he's down here. Okay, so we just preview the stuff that we just recorded, and it's pretty fun to mess around with. Like honestly, I think the coolest thing about Motion Director and these actor groups is it's so fun to do. You can move it around just like a video game, and you can record some actual cool animation too. Let's clear all these ones here and go back. I'm going to go to my scene manager here, and we'll just quickly populate this scene. Oh man, I didn't show Motion Mixer, but I'll tell you what. If anyone has any questions about Motion Mixer, I will do that in the Q&A. But let's go ahead and just delete all these characters in the scene and repopulate it really quickly. So avatar group. So there's two groups in this scene. I'm just going to delete all the business people first. And let's get Kevin out of there too. We don't need Kevin anymore. It's not very professional to have a naked man running around your museum. I'll tell you what. Okay, so now our scene's pretty empty. Oh, we still got the actor groups here. Oh, these two ones here. Oh, we just deleted yeah, okay. Okay, so let's throw in some, random actor groups into this scene. Actually, let's create our nav mesh first. That was my original until I got distracted by Kevin walking around naked. Um, so you can create a nav mesh by going up here to the toolbar, generate a nav mesh. You can generate a volume box, a certain area that you want the nav mesh to occupy. In this case, I'm just going to create scene and generate. Did it generate anything for us? Oh, we already have one. Okay, so I need to delete this one first. Okay, and then generate the nav mesh again. That'll work. There you go. Okay, so generate. We create scene. It automatically detects the um, any sort of terrain or whatever in the scene, and it'll automatically put a nav mesh over that. So cell size is not really important. You can make that larger or smaller. When you do it, oh, you just select auto build first. Auto build down here. That wasn't too fast for everyone. Cell size just basically means the size. If a larger cell size, it'll be further distance from any obstacles in your scene, any props in your scene. So you normally want to keep this pretty small. And cell height doesn't matter in this case. Agent, you can learn about that more in the tutorial. It's basically for how big you want your character to be able to, areas you want your character to be able to access, how big they can be or how small they can be. And area size, we don't worry about that. Diagnostic mode is just gets rid of everything. So we'll just generate that nav mesh really quickly. We already did actually. Okay. So this is what we have. Pretty basic stuff. Now, again, you go up to create and scatter and generate crowd. And, we have these casual characters that we have. I think it just always retains the previous avatars that you loaded in from the last crowd generation by default. And we can assign them, any of these casual behaviors. I think these are all pretty good. Generally you wouldn't want someone to be jogging through a museum, so you could probably take away the casual jog, just in case someone gets randomly assigned that. This one for males too. All the other ones seem fairly decent. Okay, so let's pick our object, and this time pick the nav mesh. Okay, and now here you can see this is where the characters are going to be created, and they're going to have these random assignments of iMDs. Again, these could be motions or iMDs. Just be aware of that. iMD is generally the way you want to go, though. Let's have a few more. Maybe 30 is fine. Orientation, you can have them all oriented the same way, or you can have random orientation, which is probably what we want. Okay. And you can always add a focal point. Okay, so if you can generate like 3 characters all looking at a painting using that focal point there. Let's try and generate another placement. That looks good. Okay, so let's deploy our actors. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on the stuff. I've already gone a little bit over time here, so apologies for that, guys. But wanted to get a more comprehensive look at we'll generate our crowd here. And you know what? After this, I'll do another motion director run through, but this time I'll show you how to mix upper body movement with lower body movement. For those of you who aren't aware, that's also a tutorial that I previously did. Maybe I shouldn't have created 30 characters. It's taken a while, but I'll tell you what, it might take a couple of minutes with that many characters. So what I'll do here is I will let's move right into the Q&A. And I'll come back to this project once it's finished loading, which I think shouldn't be more than a minute, but I don't have a minute of small talking me right now. Let's just go to our Q&A. So that'll be a wrap. Oh, now it works. Okay, we'll do the Q&A anyways. So okay. Did it generate? Okay, yeah, it did. All right, so I'll just show you this really quick first. Okay, so it generated that, and if we close that down now, and we play back from our motion director, they're all assigned iMDs, everything. Okay, you can click on your character to see which iMD it's been assigned. Okay, and play back. Parkour. Yeah, and that'll process the actors. Again, just to, there's a little bit of processing involved in this random generation stuff. And I'm surprised that I don't see any duplicates of characters. Oh, yeah, I do see there's 2 green characters here, this one and that one. So I didn't have enough characters in the library to um, have no duplicates. But again, you can click and drag the character from the content manager over top of that character in the scene, and it'll automatically switch with that character. It'll retain the same IMD, the same behavior and everything. If you click and drag one character, it just replaces the mesh, really. That's it. We can even bring that coyote character in here as well, which would be a gas having a coyote, cartoon coyote running through the museum here. But once this is finished processing, we shall get our first look at how quick and easy it is to generate this stuff. Cool. Oh, we have a follow cam selected. Oh, and this old Chinese lady. Okay, I forgot to set the. You can see they kind of ran into each other, and this girl over here is just idling. I guess we'll follow this old Chinese lady for a second here. Come on, come out the other side. All right, this is generally why you don't want follow cam. And she's like, oh, looking for something. Again, you want to be more picky about the iMDs that you choose because who knows why she's doing that in a museum. Anyways, okay, we'll stop that nonsense. And we will let's actually just have our one character do a run through, a really quick run through here. That coyote idea sounded really fun to me. So I'm gonna take a coyote and my custom coyote character. And I believe we can assign a MD to him. Not a problem. Motion director. Oh, no custom motion directors. Motion director. And how about just a casual walk for a child? That might be able to fit him. Okay, let's make sure the yellow selection box is over top of him. And then MD controls. Let's follow Wolfie. Control him with my mouse. Yep. Okay. Casual walk child. And our target character is going to be Wolfie or Coyote here as well. Follow camera. Okay, cool. Let's play that back. It shouldn't take too long. Okay, so now we have this. We can walk our wolf around here. Yep, looks just fine. He's walking real slow. We have our motion triggers, I believe. It's, okay, it's really slow. But okay, so I wanted to show you the motion mixer. Okay, we need to stop first. Ah, crap. Okay. Hope I didn't just. Oh. Okay, so if I want to mix this motion together, we need to go to the where is it here? Oh, this is the MD behaviors. So MD can be a little bit complicated sometimes. You have to know where everything is. So under behavior settings, under MD behavior, you'll see a mix thing with your character selected. All you really have to do is click and drag the motion you want the upper body to be part of. Let's just do a random one here, maybe like let's do another dance motion. Dance. That street dance popping one seemed cool. All right, we'll do the Fresno one. So again, you need to click and drag it from the Explorer window. So we'll find the file and it pops up over here and back to MD behavior. There we go. And click and drag Fresno over to mix. Oh, we need to add and delete behavior first. Okay, so click on add delete behavior. And it'll give us the option now to add a mix one. And here is where you want to basically just take the path here, the path of least resistance, or the path of annoying copy and pasting stuff. Um, Fresno 01. Okay. You can also click and drag it on there as well, like 99% sure. And then you have to assign it a trigger. So we'll just go down here and assign it to number 3 and then apply. And that's going to allow us to have a little bit of a pop and lock on the upper body while the lower body is walking, I guess. This is probably going to look really stupid, but just wanted to show you the process. So let's go to MD controls. Let's give her a start. And I think everything should be fine. But we need to throw in the triggers there. Ba-ba. Okay, so here we have the Fresno one. So if I move my character along, the upper body, he can have him popping and locking. You can see him moving like that. He's just casually going through the museum here. He's like, hey guys, what's up? All right. And then if you find that, there's too much of this one actually worked out pretty well. But if you have an issue with like, I don't know why that lady just jumped in the air there. This stuff is so random. Anyways, if you have your character, you want to change the weighting on the upper body to more of the original motion, you can right click on your act or your mixer there and click adjust mixer weights. And then, you can, if this one here, if we choose, right arm only and click apply, then we Fresno it. You can see that the right arm is the only one going to be moving. Left arm won't be moving. Okay. And you can do this for right arm, left arm, and the entire upper body. So you can generate the weights for the entire upper body and apply that, whatever. But yeah, that's going to be it for the demo, guys. Sorry to go over time here by about 15 minutes. So we'll get to the Q&A. Thanks for sticking with me for the additional time. Timeroonies here. And we'll get to the Q&A now. All right. First question says yes. All right. That's a nice question. Yes. I think that was from before the webinar started. Jonathan Bell asks, can the clothing be changed? Yes, absolutely. The clothing can be changed. On most of those characters, like I mentioned earlier, only some of them. Or sorry, the clothing, if you're looking at actor core characters and actor scan characters, the clothing cannot be changed, but the materials can be changed. So let's find a character, for example, that has that little icon thingy-majiggy. Which one? Maybe Business People Volume 4. This one here. I think can you find it in this contact info? You can't really tell if it has the but basically all the if your character has multiple materials, like I think I mentioned earlier, you can find that under the media and material plus. So yes, these Business People Volume 4, they have different materials. So for example, female 004, let's just load her in. And there should be an easier way to match it, but you kind of just have to wing it. Okay, so this female character, we bring her in. We could also assign her to the nav mesh as well if we wanted to. She's like looking at this IKEA, or not IKEA, what did I say IKEA? Coyote dude. Yeah, that's the cold medicine affecting my brain. So yeah, again, back over to Material Plus. If we go to our modify panel, let's bring this over here. I like to have them all on the same side. What are you doing? Ah, get in there. Oh gosh, this is annoying. Okay, we're gonna leave it over here. Or not. All right. Oh yeah, your materials over here. So you can see the material, it's only one mesh. Okay, so very simple characters, only 16,000 tries. And you can see it has the beast color mesh, yada yada. And the resource map. So the color ID maps are the ones that allow you to swap over the materials. And you go down to not motion director, material plus, and you have to make sure that you have the same female 0004, whatever. So we can give her with maybe this white dress, just like this. And so there's her first outfit. a different outfit here. This one has a beige dress and a pink top. Okay. And you can modify these yourself as well. This one looks good as well. Okay. So again, just be aware that the base color map, you can change the colors, in Photoshop manually as well if you want. But those are the easy preset ways to do it. All right. Now, say, for example, we applied one that's not her, like the 008. It's a woman in a pantsuit. It's going to look really weird because the RGB is going to be way off. Looks like her tongue is on her skirt at this point. So that's obviously not something that you would want to have unless you want a freak show in your museum. Uh, okay, let's go to the next question anyways. Zoom here. Where are we? Oh, it's down here. Thanks for the question, Jonathan. Uh, Next question from Sean is, how do you export all the animations from the crowd simulations and bring them into Unreal 5.3 through the auto setup to Unreal plugin? When I do this, it only brings over one animation state for one character. Everything else transfers over, such as the textures and materials. So Sean, I'm not going to load up Unreal right now. It'll just take a little bit of time that I don't want to spend. But we do have a special dedicated tutorial for Unreal. I just made that last week, actually. It's really very timely for this webinar. I think we've uploaded it already into CrowdSim at the bottom. Is it here yet? So there's one for NVIDIA Omniverse for those of you who may be inquiring about NVIDIA Omniverse. I don't think it's on the learning page yet, but I'm pretty sure they uploaded it to YouTube already. Let's go to Reallusion. Whoops. Huh? Mhm. Salvador Dali. These ones are great by Michael Pavlovich, by the way. This series of tutorials, if you guys are ZBrush users, highly recommend checking those out. Um, yeah, I don't think is it up there? I swore I could have sworn I emailed it to someone the other day. Um, okay, Sean, it should be up within the next couple of days. Uh, but yeah, I thought it was here already. CrowdSim NVIDIA Omniverse. Yeah, there is one for Unreal. It's using Live Link, but you can also use auto setup as well. Um, Obviously, Live Link is the ideal way to do it. Um, Auto setup is just kind of like extra steps, but um, yeah, what I would do is I mean, you can save the entire crowd as an FBX maybe. I'm pretty sure the tutorial I did is only using Live Link, so apologies for that if you don't have Live Link. But you can save the entire thing as an FBX, all the characters' movements and everything like that, and that should be you can save it as like one file. I think the auto setup should be able to detect that. Again, don't quote me on that, but that's a great question, Sean, and I think that that tutorial should be up, anytime. Yep. Yeah, so the NVIDIA one I mentioned here, NVIDIA Omniverse one is right here. There's an Unreal one coming out in, I don't know, I think probably this week. Yeah, NVIDIA Omniverse is great too, free, and ray tracing renders for very realistic. The actor core characters look great in NVIDIA Omniverse. Okay, Daniel asks, what's the benefit of an orbital versus a linear camera? The camera types are kind of slightly different. So when you go to create camera, this is probably not the best scenario to work with it, but you'll see that the parameters here under the orbital camera are slightly different. If we go to, like, say, for example, select this character, move around like this, it's going to be the same thing. Whoops. I kind of don't really worry about the difference between those two. Orbital cameras are kind of just for like when you don't have anything in your scene, it'll rotate around like this. Um, but if we have a linear camera, for example, uh, linear camera, It's basically the same thing. From what I remember, gosh, there's just slightly different parameters that you can adjust. I always just use linear camera, to be honest. I can't remember the one that's the difference, but we should probably get a tutorial on that. I learned it a long time ago and I've forgotten because I always use linear camera. Very good question, Daniel. If someone knows the answer to that specifically, maybe throw that in the chat window because I'm kind of not all mentally there right now. You can always go to the help too as well. It's probably in the help somewhere. I should know. But probably find it out. Camera. Okay, which camera is ideal? Always travels in a straight line without considering its own angle. Oh yeah, okay. That's it. And the orbital camera moves in a curved pattern according to its orientation. There you go. Yeah, I remember reading that a long time ago, and I've always just chosen linear camera. So uh, be aware though, here's a very large caveat if you ask me. You cannot adjust the transform data of the orbit camera in the curve editor. All right. That's a huge one. But it's mainly used for, orbiting things. I was wondering why it wasn't orbiting properly around that coyote, but yeah, there you go. There's your answer. It took a second. All right. Next one from Crazy Horse NA. When I use an actor group that I've created and using it with the reloading feature, repetition feature, no matter how long the animation is, I get a glitch when it loops. It would be nice if the loop had a blend frames option to smooth out the loop. Yeah, very good comment, Crazy Horse. So when you're using the repetition feature for your character's animations, you have to make sure they're already blended. They're already loopable, so the ending frame has to blend perfectly to the starting frame. Otherwise, you will get that glitchy, kind of choppy transition between the beginning and the end of the clip. Yeah, it would be nice if they had that feature in actor group by default, but unfortunately, that's not the case right now. So, but good. Thanks for bringing that up. The awareness of that. It's pretty important. Uh, Anonymous attendee asks, I came in a little late. Is there a way to bring back the crowd control actor group options after the window is closed to modify it again? Cloud control actor. Um, so once you throw a crowd in there and you close down the window, I'm not sure actually. I've always just generated because it's just so easy to generate them. I always just generate them from scratch every time. Good question though. If I don't think so. Not that I know of. Mm, no, I don't think so. Um, yeah, generate crowd because it always just comes to generate, right? Yeah, I mean, it'll have the same. It'll bring up the same characters that we had previously, um, and but yeah, it does prompt you to create again. So you need to create it again. So I mean, it's just uh, I think it's kind of a half solution for what you're asking. It does keep the same motions, the same iMDs, and the same actors in the actor pool and the motion list there, but it does require you to regenerate, so you won't have the exact same thing. That's a really good question, though, and I think that's something that's but you can always save it, of course, up here as well. So if you want to, just you can save and load. But I don't think by default you can go back in. You have to reload it up here with a load JSON file. So it'll load the preset that you have that you've generated, or save it and load it, but it doesn't do it by default. So yeah, good question. Again, I've always just kind of just whatever, generate. So I'm still pretty new to this actor group stuff as well. I haven't had much chance to implement it into many projects yet. But thanks for that question, anonymous attendee. Another question from Crazy Horse. It'd be nice to be able to create an actor group from avatars already in the scene. Yeah, so very good, very good comment. And I think this is kind of just um, what Crazy Horse is mentioning here is I would bring the actor into the scene and then I have to go, oh, dope, I have to open up the create actor group panel first before I bring the character into the scene. When it would be nice if we can just, click the character and add them to the actor group, like maybe like right click them or something. But I'm sure that'll be in a future version. Again, the feature is brand new, so there's always going to be improvements to it. Chuck says, thank you, Chuck, for being with us here today. Zola, hey Zola, good to see you again. Our actor core characters low polygon. Can you change their outfits colors inside iClone 8? So I just showed kind of how to change their outfit colors. They are fairly low polygon. I'll show you an example. I think it's kind of, I said this at the very beginning of the webinar that I would show you this, and I think it's kind of important to note that if you go to, I'm going to show you three different types of characters that are embedded in iClone. This characters right here. So we have three different versions of Kevin. Let's bring in the default Kevin first here. And then we'll bring in, you can see there's Kevin actor build and there's Kevin actor scan. All right, so this will kind of be an interesting comparison. Let's bring the light around a little bit. Oh, we don't have a light. All right, that's better. Now we can actually see things. All right, so this is Kevin, the high poly Kevin. If we click on him, you can see he's 37,000 polygons, which isn't too bad. That's still pretty low resource. But if you bring, because there's characters that are millions and millions. Bring in Kevin actor build. He is, sorry, 19,000 is Kevin actor build, and then Kevin actor scan. He's got the cornrows there. I don't know why they did that, but it's kind of interesting. And then Kevin actor scan is the uptight older brother of regular Kevin that has the cornrows there, and he is 13,000. So in this case, actually, the actor scan character has a lower poly count. You can see the selected tries up there. And if you go to materials, you can see that actor Kevin here, PBR, has one mesh. This Kevin also has one mesh. Okay. So this is an actor build, and the character has metallic and roughness maps. Okay. So a little bit more detailed. Actor scan Kevin doesn't have metallic. Okay. Well, actor build Kevin does have metallic and ambient occlusion. So it's basically, if you go from right to left here, it's like going from least detailed to most detailed. All right. And of course, they can all do their facial animation and everything like that. But again, this guy's going to have better visual quality if we zoom in on his face. Okay. I think that visual quality is not bad for very basic lighting. Okay. And this guy, come on. There we go. You can see, obviously, the detail is not there on the facial scan. So, like I said, when you're doing face close-ups, you don't want to use that. And then, yeah, this guy's, not ideal. But again, you can fudge a lot of things with lighting and the correct camera angles. So, yeah, I think that answers the question. I forgot what the original question was. Oh, yeah, we talked about general actor core stuff. Okay, question from David. Hey, David, can we set up to assign random characters from a preset group? So we just have like professional people and not our, yeah. So David, I did run through that in the webinar. Those presets are always really good. And it all depends on the library of actors that you bring into your actor pool. Okay, so if those are all like the business avatars, even if you bring in your own, that's fine too. Yeah, that answers that question. Any clarification needed, I'm happy to answer that as well. Mike Kelly, how's it going, Mike? Dual actor core groups, etc., need to be bipeds. Yes, they are all bipeds right now. We are working on quadrupeds. I know I've been saying this for a long time, but we are working on getting quadruped actor groups and stuff as well. There's also a lot of really cool improvements that are going to be made to the whole actor group and crowd generation stuff. I've just seen over the last couple of weeks. I'm really excited about the new improvements for the next version. Can I create a group of vehicles? So talking about street and air traffic, for example. So here's a good scenario to answer that question, Mike. I think if you had like a car going through the street that I showed you earlier, if you have a car running through that street, make sure that car is assigned as a prop, which it'll generally be, and you want to make sure that that car has a dynamic um, prop state assigned to it. Let me just close this down for now. Let's see if I can select this bench here. Come on, you. Let's see if there's any props I can select. Okay, pedestal stand, whatever here. Say this is a moving car. I know, use your imagination, but you need to go over to scene manager here, and there's a state, which is this one. Yeah, so not a rigid body. Okay, you can move it over. So I was going to physics state here. I thought you could find it over here. Oh yeah, you can. Just need to expand. Um, over here, animatable. Obviously, it's animatable. And this state here. So there's static, dynamic, impassable, and passable. So this is used with a nav mesh. If it's static and we move it around like this, it's not going to affect the nav mesh. All right. So the nav mesh will just remain as it is. If we have it as dynamic, and we move the nav mesh, or we move it over, the nav mesh will automatically update. So if you have a car running through your scene and you don't want you don't want to run over your characters like in the pedestrian crosswalk or whatever, you want to assign that car a dynamic state. Okay, and once you assign that a dynamic state, then the car will not run over people. They'll avoid it. Okay, unless you want a kind of a murder scene or something. You have fun with that. Ba-da-ba-ba. Oh, okay, got to that too late. Let's go to the next question here, anyways. All right. Another question from Daniel. The randomized panel doesn't open when I deploy custom actor groups. How do I get that panel? So that's a good question, Daniel. And that only happens when you do the presets. Okay. So when you have a group, so that's another difference. I think maybe I didn't mention between groups and presets is when you throw it in group, the group is basically just already set. Okay. But when you do presets, with presets, you have those other options that appear. So just when you apply it, so again, a preset is like a group of actor groups. I know it's strange, but the preset, when you apply that, then you'll have the randomized options that you wouldn't have for a regular group. All right. And I did go through that, I believe. Andy asks a good question. I'm wondering how you prep your own characters to work in iClone. So Andy, I don't really do much character design. I'm a terrible artist in terms of like modeling my own characters. But for prepping your own characters, um, recommend checking out the AccuRig tutorials because there's the AccuRig tutorials. For those of you who aren't aware, Relusion has a free service called AccuRig, completely free, where you can bring in your any model from whatever software you need. Doesn't even have to be rigged. That's why it's called AccuRig. It generates the rig. It does the skin weighting and everything for you. So that's from the Actor Course site. You can get to it. AccuRig right here, free. You can see it says free on the top. If you have any character models that don't have rigs and you want to use them in iClone, even for actor groups or whatever, check out AccuRig. It's the bee's knees. All right. Yeah, I threw that in the chat window for you guys in case you want to get to it. There's tutorials on that as well. Okay, next question. Crazy Horse always commenting all these improvements, requested improvements. You have to use CC4 to turn a prop into an accessory to use in actor groups. Yeah. No, I think you can do it in iClone, actually, Crazy Horse. I think if you attach the prop to your character, whatever bone it is, and then you save it after you attach it, I think you could save it as an accessory. So yeah, I'm 99% sure you can do that. You don't need to use Character Creator for that. Just make sure you attach it, not link it, attach it to your character to a specific bone, reposition it or whatever, and then save it. You can save it. That gives you the option to save it as a separate accessory. Um, Anonymous asks, how can I get the city gray box environment? That's actually internal artwork. We don't have that for sale, but yeah, we may be able to offer that in the future. But yeah, good question. It's definitely useful for demoing, but yeah, I'm not sure if we'll be offering that in the future on the marketplace or something. I'll have to get back to you on that. So um, that's our artists' work that here at Reallusion. A question from Basil Malik. I would really like to know how to make large static crown like an outside concert without stands. Oh, large static crowd. Oh, yeah, super easy. So, Basil, I would refer you to the crowd simulation tutorials, specifically this one, crowd generation. Okay, so if I had like a crowd outside, say for example, I was for some reason there was a crowd watching this museum scene. We would create, scatter. Maybe I want to generate a crowd and I want to use a volume state this time. So create volume. Formation I'll choose this time just to be different and create volume. So it'll prompt me to create a box. Okay. And there, that looks good. Okay, so there's my formation. There's my crowd, and they're all facing the wrong way. So you can choose the amount of people in your crowd like this. You can choose their orientation. Let's have them facing this way, so they're all facing the other actor groups. Um, Maybe here I can have them all as I'll just whatever use the same things. They don't, and in this case, you would want to have them have you don't want them to have strolls or walks because they're obviously just sitting or standing in the same place. So all of these would probably be no good. And you would go to let's see if we can find some stationary like cheering animations or something like that. City life. Yeah, we could have them all like standing on the floor or sitting on the floor or something like that. Probably something like like a boring idol would be here. Be okay here. Let's just try this chat stand, or let's put a couple in there. Like maybe some of them are standing, some of them are taking photos, some of them are calling and leaning, whatever that is. Oh, we need to have motions. Okay, so these are just gonna be motions and not iMDs, and that's fine too. This is always a good way to do it. Um, and you can have them do combinations as well, so they can combine and like you can set the amount of blend frames and loop, okay, and random start frame you want to have selected. Again, I'm going through this really quickly, guys, but there's lots more to explain when it comes to those options there, but they can all be explained via the dedicated tutorials, which I encourage you to look at. Okay, well, this is converting. I'm going to go to the next question anyways here, just to get through. We're going to go for about 15 more minutes for the Q&A, and then I'm going to go, I don't know, drink some soup or something. Question from Ed here. After Effects beta allows 3D to import it into it. Could we export the crowd scene along with the animation to OBJ with animation so it could be imported into A or another 3D program? Excuse me. Good question, Ed. As far as I know, do OBJs contain animation? I think OBJs are just the meshes of the characters with the rigs. I don't think OBJs can contain the animation data. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've never, generally when I work with OBJs, it's always just working with meshes. Maybe someone can, oh, okay, it was a tag conflict here, whatever, who cares? Yeah, so I don't think that OBJ will contain animation. But I could be wrong. Someone can maybe clarify that for me. Yeah. Yeah, I meant FBX. So FBX you want to use or Alembic. You kind of clarified it yourself in the chat there. Yeah, Alembic is animation with the physics included. FBX is generally your go-to for that stuff. But it should be okay. Um, Good question. Chuck asks the next one here. Can a rigged or animated object be done in Blender, get imported into iClone? Yeah, absolutely. Good question, Chuck. We have a really good Blender auto setup that I recommend checking out. And I believe you can probably find that in a tutorial for it anyways. In let's go to character creator and in the pipeline, probably import. It would be this one or this one. Oh yeah, here we go. Blender. So all of the Blender tutorials and Blender auto setup is really awesome. It's I use Blender often and this saves my bacon. I'm gonna throw this Blender chat. Okay, so yeah, Andy clarifies here. AE supports OBJ sequences, so that'll be a little bit different. I've never worked with an OBJ sequence, so yeah. All right. Yeah, so this Blender auto setup, if you're a Blender person, we got tons of stuff for you. Um, Absolutely. Okay, next question. Ferris Rivers, would the run for your life motion work with the crowds here? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's a really good question, Ferris. The run for your life is a content pack that actually has people like running away from monsters and stuff. It's really funny. But yeah, it definitely would work with the crowds. You can have a crowd running away. You can generate the crowd. You can have them run away along a path. Just make sure that you apply the correct animations to them. That would work pretty fun. That'd be pretty funny, actually. Oh, let's go back to my crowd here before I move on. So here's the crowd I just assigned random like motions to. Again, they're all facing the same way. You can see here, randomly generated. And if we play back, so here they have motions, okay? So they do not need, and you can see that the obviously the two frame, some of them are like jerking back and forth. So the two frame transition time is not enough. I think I put like 10 frames transition or something. That's why they're jerking. But yeah, this is what they would do. Obviously, you would spend more time getting the right. Some of them are taking pictures and whatever. You want to spend a bit more time getting the animations right and blended properly. But that's yeah. You don't have to use Motion Director because these are motions instead of iMDs. You can just play back right here. It's already set up. Okay, so Anonymous asks, how much device resources do the various methods use to compare them? I think maybe you're talking about the characters I showed you earlier. I would always use actor scan characters unless you need close-ups, and you can blend them together too. Like if you have um, two characters that are close up in your scene and there's a bunch of characters in the background, you can also use depth of field to blur the characters in the background and only focus on the two main characters in the front that have their own, have more detailed facial geometry and materials. Hopefully that's what you're asking about. Samson here asks, does Motion Director work while you have the iClone link to Unreal working simultaneously? Yes, it does. How would the recording work in this scenario? So, Simon, you can actually record directly with Motion Director. You can record directly to the sequencer in Unreal. And the tutorial that is going to be probably launched this week, I think, it talks about how to do that. So you can actually, with Motion Live, a data link, I guess, you can record directly to the sequencer in Unreal, which is super awesome. It saves you a lot of time. Um, yeah, that's something that's really cool for Unreal users. But yeah, you don't have to. You can just record um, using the other way as well, using recording in sequences in Unreal. But you can also record directly from iClone to Unreal. It goes directly into the sequencer. Okay. So Crazy Horse asks, why do you prefer iMDs over motions for crowd sim? That's a very good question. So I just showed, using this formation crowd using motions. When you have iMDs, there's often a lot more options. you can assign a specific IMD to a character, and specifically for motions where you're moving, your character's moving around, like walking and stuff. You can have that same character transition from a walk to a jog. It just makes things more random, and it gives you a lot more options when you're working with IMDs. Obviously, you can blend motions together, but like I just showed, or like you just saw, um, some motions don't really blend well together. IMDs blend together flawlessly. So that's probably the main advantage. The main two advantages, I think, of using IMDs over motions. Just think of IMDs as a perfectly blended library, small specific library of motions. It's kind of like the way I like to think of them. Uh, um, Dave asks, where do we get those scenes to use, especially the city one? Okay, another request for the city scene. I think it's a really cool scene. We can talk about maybe getting that a link put for that city scene in the email we send out to you guys. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but we might be able to do that. It's a fairly large project. It's about a gigabyte in size, so it might be a challenge to get that. But yeah, I think if anyone wants to can email me, and I can probably send that to you. I do believe so. Um, all right. Zola asks, what is the motion mixer? I kind of showed the motion mixer earlier. That's kind of when you apply an upper body animation and mix it with the lower body animation using the motion director. So I won't go through that process again, but hopefully, I think this was you actually asked this question right before I demoed it. So, um, question from Donald: can any character we have paid for be used within the empty setup? Yeah, absolutely. There's no limit on which character you can use in Motion Director. I just use the Coyote and Naked Kevin or Semi-Naked Kevin. So yeah, as long as they have a character rig, and you can just you can rig your character up for free using AccuRig. So literally any character. Ken asks, hey Ken, can CC4 actors be resized to be saved in a folder to be used later in an actor group? Resized. Um, I think maybe you're talking about the actual like geometry of the character. Um, maybe like lower polygon count or higher polygon count. Yeah, you can save them as you can. That's of course using Character Creator. You can decimate your characters. There's an embedded tool for decimation in Character Creator 4. Again, just be aware of the demands of every project are different, but you can do that. Hopefully that answered your question there. Next question is from Watson. We'll go for about 5 more minutes, guys. Sorry, we're kind of gonna stick with the hour-long Q&A. Actually, we'll go another 5 minutes after that if we need to, because I was too late for my I went over time on my demo there. So, question from Watson: is there a way to expand or extend the strides of motion, or like with the normal dive or flip being turned into an Arabian flip? I'm not sure what an Arabian flip is, but I have humanoid characters that are pack hunters with long strides. So one thing you may want to take a look at, Watson, that's a good question. You can also always retarget characters with different proportions. And the way you can do that generally is, we need to get a character in edit mode first. Let's actually bring in like a Kevin. Or we actually have Kevin already, don't we? Where are you, Kevin? Oh, there he is. So if he has like a motion applied to him, I'm going to close this window for a sec. There's something up here called retarget motion. You can see I'm kind of mousing it over there. It's not popping up with the oh, there you go, motion retarget. There you go. So generally, if you have a character with different proportions and the motion's not really working the best, you can go up here. This will be the first step I would suggest doing, is clicking up here and motion retarget for that motion. And that can generally fix things a little bit. That would be my only suggestion right now for that question. And that was from Watson. You can find it on the toolbar up here. That's comes embedded with iClone. All right, Jonathan asks, I've created several characters in Character Creator and Cartoon Animator. Do you have any recommendations for training in the Relution courses or anywhere else for getting started and creating animated videos? I'm just getting started. Yep, absolutely. I think, Jonathan, good question. There's a getting started section in for iClone and Character Creator. Uh, so for iClone, for example, you can see getting started right here. There's all the basics. Once you know these ones, then you can go into the more specific ones. Like motion editing is very important. Um, I think the basic ones would be maybe visual and lighting, building scenes. That's very basic as well. The other stuff can get into a bit more complex, like motion editing and motion mocap animation training and stuff can get more complex. But I would start with getting started, visual and lighting, and building scenes. Those probably are the three basic ones that you'd want to take a look at there. All right. Question from Cameron. Any updates on 8.5 and what new things to expect with Motion Director? Gosh, my brain's not functioning right now, but I literally last week had a meeting about the new features of Motion Director. There are some definitely some improvements to Motion Director. I can tell you that. Um, oh man, yeah, there are definitely some improvements, and it'll be very soon. But for the life of me, I can't think of it right now. Um, we'll go to the next question, anyways, from Len. Sorry about that, but Len asks how difficult it is to add crowd actors to sometimes look or change expressions. Thinking about how Kevin running around nearly naked would make someone in the crowd react. Possible to customize that, or would it take a lot of time? So in that scenario, I mean, Len, if you wanted the actors to react to Kevin, that would require triggers, which would be done in Unreal Engine probably. Um, we don't really have triggers for specific characters to a scenario. So for example, if they came within a distance of Kevin and saw him running naked, we don't have a trigger option in iClone where it could trigger a response, for example. That would have to be animated manually. You couldn't randomly generate that in a crowd either. I mean, they would just like we saw when I was doing the demo, he was just running around through the museum and no one seemed like no one cared. But obviously that would require triggers and require either trigger or a manual animation in iClone. Okay, so Watson, thanks for the follow-up there. Carson asks a good question. Can the ethnicity of the actors be modified? Oh man, I guess you can do it manually in Photoshop if you'd like launch the body material, the body texture there. But we don't have presets where you can change the actor's skin tone. I mean, not for actor scan and actor build characters. Actor origin characters, you can totally change everything. But uh, the actor core characters, not yet. We don't have the skin color options. Maybe some do. I don't know. I haven't seen one though. But okay, we'll go to the next question anyways from Ed Visner. Since clothing cannot be changed, how we can get custom clothing on characters, or can we import custom characters, perhaps a metahuman or another character brought to life with your character rigger? Forgot the name. That was AccuRig. Yeah, I mean, metahuman characters are really heavy. You can bring them into character creator and iClone just fine. And we do have we will actually have this is one improvement with 8.5. We will have the metahuman rig. You can animate your metahuman characters or iClone characters and metahuman characters using the embedded. It's going to be an embedded rig in Unreal, so that'll be really fun. But yeah, generally, if you're going to be bringing them into iClone, metahumans can be fairly high resource. Again, their geometry is higher. They're not really as optimized for use with iClones. So, but any other characters you definitely can, and you can import in custom clothing to your character as well. It may just require modification or so. But of course, the actor core characters already have like clothing just painted on them basically. So you can't unless you want to go into Photoshop and paint them all naked, then it's not going to be an easy change. Rosemary asks, how can you have camera start from aerial view, then move to follow cam? Um, so you have the option when I think maybe you're talking about motion director. If you want to do it live in real time, you can have it zoom out. There's an option in the motion director panel to have a certain distance from the character. You start there, and then you'd have to manually zoom it in. Um, but you can't really switch from an aerial cam to a follow cam live. You'd have to record the motion director bit, and you can record the follow cam using motion director, but then you'd have to kind of manually switch to an aerial camera um, in the switcher tool or in the switcher track in the timeline. But you could do it, but it just wouldn't be in real time. So yeah, so that's a good question. You don't have the option to like press 1, 2, 3, 4. For example, it'll switch to camera 1, switch to camera 2. That function is not available just yet. Okay, thanks, Sean. Yeah, auto setup doesn't work with multiple characters. Yep, that's correct. That's why we have the live link that costs a bunch of money. Um, but next question from Carson. How do you create the grayed out scenes? I assume you're doing it as a way to save resources. Yeah. So when those demo scenes that I used, they're kind of purposefully not using materials because materials can be a drain on resources. My advice is when you're using another quick way to do things is, you don't even have to do that. If in a scene like this, where I want to save resources, things are running a little bit slow. Obviously, it's running pretty okay right now. Let's see if the modify panel will dock now. Oh yeah, there we go. Sweet. Okay. This is the way I normally work. Um, so in the scene, if you want to save more resources, just go up here to high and change this high to like quick mode. Okay, if you change to shading quick mode, you can see here it saves a lot more resources. The VRAM is only using 2.7 out of 10 gigabytes. There's also like minimal, which is very similar to quick mode. This one just is like, no materials. So this one's the VRAM is only using 1.1 gigabytes of the VRAM. Okay. So minimal, and these like there's no shading in this one whatsoever. Okay, no lighting or shading or anything like that. So um yeah, minimal or quick when you go up here to shader mode. Okay, so this is from Ed's previous question. All right, we're gonna go or 5 more minutes, then we'll call it quits. Um, Carson asks, can you provide backgrounds that you use so we can follow along? Yeah, this is the third request I've had for that. I'll confirm it with the group here if we can maybe try to include a link for one of those projects and get those to you. Again, you can always email me as well if you want to grab it though. Crazy Horse, very inquisitive fellow here. For the loop repetition in actor groups, even if you smooth the loop and you randomize the keyframe, it glitches for you. Yeah, I mean, the Crazy Horse, this is going to be it's going to be differing on different scenarios. Some motions are not going to fit well together, and those settings, I've done it where it's looped very smoothly, but again, like I just showed you in this crowd example here, it didn't really work that well. So um, yeah, generally you're gonna have to just manually. My recommendation is manually make it loopable before you use that feature. Rosemary asks, can you adjust the height and angle of the follow cam? Yeah, I talked about that just a little while ago. MD controls um, follow camera here, and here's the rotate sensitivity, pan sensitivity for the camera there. I think initially the initial follow cam always goes to the same position. Now I don't know for sure. Yeah, I think it always just goes to that initial position unless I can remember something else. Oh yeah, so no, here you go. There's a full eye, and you can do custom views here as well. So you can customize the view. This is where you add it in. Okay, the view presets. So the full shot, close up, that's how you get the presets, and you can customize your own there as well. Daniel asks, okay. I think Daniel, I mentioned that I kind of answered that question earlier about the presets and the groups. Ed asks, can you import metahumans? Yeah, you can import metahumans. Honestly, I don't really see why you would do that, but just because there's advantages from Unreal and iClone both. Um, Unreal obviously has the superior rendering abilities, and metahumans are kind of optimized for use with Unreal, with their lighting and their shading and stuff like that. So they won't look as good as if you bring them into iClone. But if you bring character creator characters into Unreal, they look fantastic. So just be aware of that. Our focus for the character creator characters is more on the usability and the optimization for animation. So. Um, Anonymous. So this is again about the city, the gray city box environment, right? Seems like very popular. Another question from Koina about that city gray box environment. I think that's about five, I think. Um, Zola asks, will I need to get an extended license to get Actor Core characters into Omniverse? Very good question. If you go up to Actor Core, actor right here, let's just choose a random one here. Um, These characters, oh, I already have it. So it's going to just download for me. Try and find something I don't have. This one, add to cart. So they don't really have, the actor core characters don't really have the extended license. You can just basically export them, no problem. Um, if you go to, I think back in the, oops, why is this one added? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't need an extended license for that. Because there's only one option here. There's no option for, let me just try and find the, let's go to the content store. Yeah, I don't think there's the extended pricing option for those characters. Where are you? Whoops, ah, crap. This one, social group bundles. So this is the one that I have. I know this one's a little steep in price, but it contains a lot of cool stuff. Um, crowd actor. Oh, that just goes to actor core. Yeah, I don't think you need the extended license. No, I would say no. But then again, all right, Zola, that's your question there. Question from Michael. Can one character trigger a specific reaction from another character? For example, like a fight pose? Yeah, unfortunately not, Michael. Again, that talks about the whole, I just mentioned about the whole trigger thing. That you need video game trigger commands to be able to do that. So iClone is only for the animation aspect of it. Question from Alvin. So when are you gonna get to add our custom animations in Motion Director for iPhone? I think that is needed. So yeah, that's one thing that's going to be added in the next version, Alvin. So you're going to be able to get your custom animations into Motion Director. Thanks for refreshing my memory there. That's one of the things that you're going to be able to do in the next update for Motion Director. Get your custom animations in there, which is great. Again, right now it's only Motion Mixer, but the next one you'll be able to totally get your custom stuff in there. El Vega, thanks for the presentation. It was extremely informative. Awesome. I like to hear that. I have an off-topic question about multi-character reach targets. So I have two characters, and every time I set my reach target to one of the character's hands, the other's waist, the hand ends up inside the body, and I cannot get out to readjust it. Any tips on how I could fix this problem? Thanks in advance. Question from El Vega. Um, so that question is a good question. Generally, you can create the dummies, the reach dummies on the character, and you can move the reach dummies. So if you have like I don't know, I can probably give Kevin a reach dummy real quick here. Where are you, Kevin? Oh, what the heck? Oh, there he is. I'm gonna change this shading mode for minimal because it's acting all wacky on me. All right, so Kevin, for example, reach target. So go up to edit reach target, and right here, you just can create a dummy here. This option here to create a dummy for the hand, for example, and display dummy object in the project settings is currently turned off. So the dummy will not be visible, but you can turn it on if you want. You used to be able to do it here. Um, yeah, it's weird. Every time I move the camera, it's giving me an annoying thing like that. Okay. Um, yeah, so in project settings, um, you can click on display dummy object. So there it is right there, the yellow square. Okay. And you just basically move that yellow square instead of the actual character. So like move it up here. Yep. Right. So it'll move along with it, and then you can rotate it as well. And that'll rotate the character's hand. So hopefully that answers your question there. And yeah, you can not say it as a dummy or set it as a dummy up there as well. But I think you can press Control D, I think. Yeah, Control D is like to show or hide all the dummies. So that's a good hotkey to know, Control D. All right. Next question from Anonymous. Is there a way to get the materials on the characters when exporting to Alembic? I never see an option. It's always white or materialless. Man, for Alembic, I think you manually, it depends on the software you import into. If you're doing like, Unreal, we have the auto setup. So that works with Alembic. Um, but I think a lot of the times you have to assign it manually. Um, unless we have an auto setup plugin, you're going to need to assign it manually. I'm like 90% sure about that. But good question though. Next one from Watson. Is there a way to expand or extend the strides or motion? Okay, I think we answered this one a little bit earlier. Watson. Um, if you need some elaboration on that, feel free to contact me later. So my email, everyone, is kai@reallusion.com. It's KAI@reallusion.com. Want to contact me? That was answer question by someone. Who was that? Timothy. All right. Kai@reallusion.com is the email. Anonymous asks, can iClone use multi GPUs? Is there an option to choose which or all graphics cards to use? I don't think so at this point. I have never used multiple GPUs, and I don't think there's an option to allow that in the preferences. So not that I've seen anyway. So I would say no to that, Anonymous. All right. Watson says, ooh, nice. Ignore request. Okay. Glad I answered that. We'll just do the last four here. Daniel asks, can default settings be saved to accurate presets? Like if I don't want to ever randomize frames, I won't have to uncheck the box each time. No, I don't think so, Daniel. I think we could probably offer that in the future, but I mean, it's a simple check of the box. It doesn't take up too much time. So I would just say it's not probably priority for that tool, but you can always request it in our request line or the wishful features area of our forum if you want as well. Rosemary asks, in the height and angle of the follow can be adjusted. Again, I think we kind of covered that. I went through the camera settings in the motion director tool there. Okay, sorry. That's why you keep getting kicked out of Zoom. So that's why. Hopefully you caught it that time. Hopefully you didn't get kicked out again. All right, and last question from Chuck. iClone motions can be used in CTA. Will iMD be the future for CTA? Yeah, I sure hope so. There's something right now in CTA called Motion Pilot, which is really similar to Motion Director. It's actually even better in a lot of ways, if you ask me. There's so many cool things you can do with Motion Pilot. I'd recommend checking the tutorials out for that, Chuck. And I think we have some webinars. We had a Motion Pilot webinar with Gary Pye. I think that was in December, maybe, or November. It was a really good one anyways. It talks all about Motion Pilot. So they're kind of very similar tools in a lot of ways. Although obviously Motion Pilot is used more for props, but it's a really cool tool. Yeah, I recommend checking it out. Motion Director, yeah, we'll see. I think it'll probably be in the future. I always tell people everything that's in iClone at some point is probably going to be in Cartoon Animator if it's a successful tool. So, all right, I think we're gonna end off the Q&A there. That about finishes it all up. We got a whole bunch of them. Whole bunch of questions there, questions in. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for being here again today. Apologies that my brain was a little bit foggy at this point, but yeah, hopefully you learned a lot. Hopefully the features you learned about can be useful in your future projects. I know certainly I'm really anxious to use actor groups more in my future projects. Just super time saving feature, and as well as walkways and navigation meshes. Yeah, really cool stuff. That's one of the best features I've ever came across in terms of saving time for lazy animators like me. But yeah, don't forget to fill out the survey, get that 10% discount for the content store. And again, lovely to have all of you guys here where this is going to be sent to you on YouTube, the link. So yeah, I'll say adios, and we'll see you. We won't have any webinars next month, but we will have some in March, early March. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.